a ZIWI peek. And you can see over here, this young lady, there she is. She just woke up. Yeah, okay, slow down, slow down. There she is. Okay, so I've been feeding her ZIWI peek for years since I got her. I fed her open farm and then I went to ZIWI peek. This is an 8.8 pound bag, $193, $194. Some places put it on sale every few months for 25% off. Maybe you can save 20, 30 bucks on it. We got a bag over there, we have a bag over there, we have 2 bags over here, and we've got a couple bags in the garbage can. So what's been going on with ZIWI? Right now they're not making much because they had weather problems. I put the bowl on the floor, I put the plate on the floor, and I gave her ZIWI, and she would look at the bowl, she'd look at the plate, and she wouldn't eat it. She wouldn't touch it. It would sit out there for hours, she wouldn't touch it. She would eat it occasionally, but she just stopped eating it. Started throwing up, yellow bile on the floor. This might happen to your dog, maybe not, maybe it's just my situation. Yellow bile on the floor, throwing up on the carpet, on the floor. So one day, I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner, but I opened up the bag and I smelled it, and I said, this doesn't smell right. But I don't really remember what it should smell like. But I opened it up and smelled it, and I said, this smells like a chemical. It doesn't smell like it should. Maybe, maybe not. So I opened up another bag, and it smelled a little better, maybe. And I gave it to her, and she looked at it and walked away, and a few hours later she ate it, and she just wasn't happy, and I was really worried. Is my dog sick? Is it the dog food? I went over to I walked in there and I said, I've got this ZIWI. I've got about $700 worth of ZIWI. It doesn't smell right. Can you take it back? And they came over and said, no. I said, I've been buying here for 6 years. And they said, doesn't matter. After 60 days, anything you buy cannot be returned. And I said, you've never pulled this game on me before. This stuff's a lot of money. And she said, we're not going to give you your money back. I'm trying to say it's a bad product. They wouldn't give me my money back. So I said a few choice words and thought, I got to find another place to shop because I'm not going to support a company that treats me like garbage. They've made thousands of dollars of profit on me. And now when I'm asking them to help me out, they refuse. Plus, I needed to find a better dog food. And here we go. Let's go into the other room. Ask anybody who deals in top quality dog food, they'll tell you ZIWI is the best. It is air dried, which is the most expensive process they can do. And it's made out of something like 98% meat. A lot of protein. And I believe because it's got a lot of protein, it also has a lot of fat. So I'm thinking maybe the dog can't process the food well because she's getting older. Maybe she can't break down the fat as well. Maybe she can't handle all the protein, but she would still eat it if she was hungry. She won't even eat the stuff. Sometimes she ate it because there was nothing else. She would leave it out for hours. I'd go and give her some Costco chicken. She'd gobble it down in a second. Give her a treat, gobble it down in a second. Give her bread, give her anything, she would eat it. Give her ZIWI, she would look at it and walk away. So I went into the same company. And I played stupid, and I said, what's your best air-dried food, and what's your best freeze-dried food? And she told me Steve's Real Food. They've got different recipes, and real meat dog food. I didn't even look at the label. I didn't compare anything. They're very well educated on what to buy and why. So she said, for her dog, it would be real meat. She says, because I believe this is the air-dried one. She said it's equivalent to ZIWI in that the dog will probably have no problem acclimating to it, eating it. And this one, I believe, is freeze-dried. But she said either one she would recommend. Then I told her how I used to feed the dog ZIWI and I used to feed the dog Open Farm. And she said, yeah, you want to go with either one of these, they should work. And they're very good. They're not cheap. ZIWI's $194 for 8.8. I think one of these, both of these bags, one of them's a 2-pound bag and the other's a 1 1/4. This is $94 total with tax. So, but if you're feeding your dog this type of food, money is not a problem, or you wouldn't be feeding them this. You'd be feeding them the kibble with grain and all that other junk. So then I told her about the situation with, and she says, well, that doesn't sound like a return because you're unhappy. It sounds like it's a product problem. And she was going to ask her manager if they would take it back. She asked for my contact info. She hasn't called me back. I don't know if they're ever going to call me back. She was being nice, trying to help me out, which I appreciate. And I felt, okay, I can support this store because there are some good people here. If they call me up, I could call up and see if they're going to give me the money. I don't know if I want to. If they called me up and said, bring it back, I would be thrilled. And I would definitely bring it back. But I took these two foods home and put the real meat and the real food, Steve's real food, on the plate, and the dog gobbled them both down. Now, what they always say is when you're switching foods, you have to be careful. A dog doesn't acclimate to a food right away. You're probably going to have vomit and diarrhea, and they might not even want to eat it until they get used to it. The smell and the... I put both of these on the plate, didn't even know how to measure them, put them both on the plate. She gobbled them down immediately. So if you are buying ZIWI, which is, I don't know that this is a better deal, because this is $100 for 3 1/4 pounds. ZIWI is $194 with a sale, maybe $164 for 8.8 pounds. I have no doubt my dog was not eating ZIWI because not only did she start to hate it, it didn't smell right, and something is definitely wrong with the product in those bags. I have $600 to $800 worth of ZIWI that is going to go in the garbage, and I will never buy a ZIWI product again. And I'm not happy with. I'm definitely not happy with. As I said, I took it into the store, carried all the bags in there, put them on the counter. Girl looks at my account, brings out this very rude manager who says, we're not going to give you your money back. I left a few choice words and I walked out of there. So if you are a customer, you know, it's hard to buy this stuff. You can't buy, it's very hard to buy ZIWI at Chewy and other stores. Some stores don't even carry ZIWI or Open Farm. And if they do, you're not going to get the 30% off. People, if you're feeding your dog ZIWI, probably one of the top-rated dog foods out there, go try Steve's Real Food. Go try Real Meat. Both of these are incredible. I'm never feeding my dog ZIWI again. They had me for 6 years. I will, maybe this is more expensive than ZIWI. I don't care. My dog eats it. She loves it. ZIWI lost my business. Doesn't have as much protein as ZIWI. Also doesn't have as much fat. So I might be able to get this dog to lose a little bit of weight, because what you have to, with ZIWI, it's all protein and fat. Maybe too much fat. So you feed the dog the food and a tiny amount, and they bloat out because it's fat. It's fattening. It's a good product, but it's fattening. Let's see what happens right now with these two foods. Maybe I'm feeding her too much. I took her out yesterday. She's never had a bigger, heavier poofus than yesterday. So I know the better the food, the less poop you have, supposedly. She pooped out a lot of the stuff, which makes me happy that she's having healthy poops. Hasn't vomited since I started feeding her this. No yellow bile on the kitchen floor, no yellow bile in her doghouse. Let's see what happens. Does this stuff work? How you doing, little pants? I know dogs don't like when you're recording them. She says, you are pissing me off. Go eat your dinner. Oh my God. Go ahead. She's not happy that I'm recording. Let's walk out of the room, leave her alone for a minute. How you doing over there? You finished yet? Okay, so she seems to be liking the Steve's real food right now. That's a lot of food that I gave her. Walk out for a minute and look at that tail. Was that a good dinner? Was that a good breakfast? And right to her water. I bought this stuff, gave it to her, and since then all the stress is gone from my mind. I'm happier, I feel better. She loves her food. She's eating it twice a day. She gets her meals and she gobbles them down. So my advice to you people, Steve's real food, real meat dog food, try both of them. And not that it's a bad product, but I'm kind of over ZIWI. It took care of her for many years. I'm done with you, ZIWI. Why? Because I know for a fact I threw out one bag. It's $194, probably on sale, $160, tax $30, so it's $190. And now we've got this bag, and we've got this bag, and we've got this bag, and we've got this bag. $2, $4, $6, $800, and the other bag that I threw out, $1,000 in the garbage can.